Hello and welcome to the Blackdog podcast number 148.
148.
Hold on. Yes, 148. Yes, there you go.
148.
Professional as ever.
Yeah.
Yes. I haven't titled it because we always change the title anyway now.
Yeah, somebody's going to come along in the feedback or something.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
That's the weekly competition, folks. How creative can you be with your feedback?
I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
And this week we are going to be all having the group therapy session of Transformers 2. Having a bit of chat, bit of news, Jim Moon's Profanasaurus, and Transformers 2. Fucking hell.
Yep, it smells just like the number at the end of its title.
Maybe that's the title straight away. There we go. Anyway,
Transformers 2 it smells like the number at the end of the
smells
title.
like the title. So anyway, let's get started. Darren, how's your week?
How's my week? Well, let's see. How has my week been? I can't quite remember, actually. Let's see. What did we do? This week, we went to see a film.
Okay, which film did you go to see?
We went to see Oz the Great and Powerful.
And?
With James Franco and Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis. Did they come along, or were they in the film?
They were actually there.
Oh, they were there.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Greedy bastard nicked all my fucking popcorn. What a git.
Well,
anyway, so is it any good? I would say it's an okay movie. It's it's enjoyable enough. It's not anything outstanding. There are lots of very nice nods to the characters that you are yet to see in Oz, like things like the Cowardly Lion.
Oh, yeah.
I think you kind of see how the Cowardly Lion becomes a Cowardly Lion in this.
Okay. Are we veering into spoiler territory? Or
no, because I'm not going to tell you how it happens. It just kind of it's a very quick thing. It's not. I mean, I don't even know if it is the actual lion that is the Cowardly Lion. But
so they just walk past. They just walk past and go, "Hey, that lion looks
I'm
a bit
scared
afraid
of you." No, you'll see what it is. And other one or two other characters as well from the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Storylines, all right. It shows basically the wizard himself to be the bit of a cowardly twat that he actually is, but he kind of, as you can possibly guess, comes good in the end. I have to say, it does nod at the beginning to the original film,
right?
The Wizard of Oz,
with
the way it does the whole black and white and then colour. But it does take it one step further by showing the ratio in 4.3 and then it goes to 16.8, I think it is, or whatever it is.
16.9.
But it only does that when he gets to Oz and all of a sudden the colour suddenly drains in.
Yeah.
And it's going from colour to this amazing, or going from black and white to this amazing high definition colour. And
apparently it pulls the depth as well on the 3D.
I didn't see it in 3D, I saw it in 2D.
Okay.
But you can tell where the 3D... They're really sort of like banking on the 3D in this. Because it is look, I'm pointing at the screen.
Look at your fingers.
Yes, look. Ooh.
Yeah, okay.
Mila Kunis, good as the character she plays, Evanora, I think her name is, or Theodora, one of the two.
Yeah.
And of course you've got Rachel Weisz who's playing her sister.
Yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know, it's all about how the wizard becomes the leader of the Emerald City, and how he gets his name.
Yes.
I have to say, even though it's probably you can take kids along to see this, they might not be so au fait with the flying baboons.
No,
because the flying baboons, they're quite sort of. You don't see them that many times, but I think the one bit where it kindly goes baboon.
Yes.
I think you'll get the kids. You'll get the kids probably screaming or having maybe a nightmare.
A small conniption.
Yeah, a small conniption.
Nice.
So I'd say a good enough film. Don't run to see it, but if you do get a chance to see it, I'd say go and do it.
Okay,
it's not bad at all.
Fair enough.
Not bad at all.
What about are you a fan of Dorothy?
Oh, you mean The Wizard of Oz itself? I'm kind of intrigued by it because what I want to read is I want to read the original novels.
Yeah.
To go with, because apparently they're quite dark and sinister.
Yeah.
In some of them they've got
the
some
Frank
real
Baum stuff.
Yeah, some real sort of dodgy elements to them.
Yes.
So apparently they've got the whole set on Kindle for in the Kindle store for a very cheap price. So I shall be going to get the old collected works there.
Yeah.
And ploughing through those.
Yeah, Kindle.
Yeah,
wicked.
Indeed.
Go on, carry on.
But no, I thought the actual world of Oz is very well represented. You will recognise the elements from the original film. It's very recognisable. Although from what I hear, the actual production company that's doing this, they don't have permission to use certain things from the original film, like things like the Ruby Slippers.
Yes,
they're under license to whoever it is that made it. I can't remember. It was Warner Brothers.
No, was it Disney? Oh yeah, I can't remember.
Well, no, but we'll look that up.
I'm not
anyway.
really a fan of the Oz films, I'll be honest. But go carry on there.
I'm partial to sort of like the whole Oz thing myself. Just because it's got it can have some real strange elements. There are some nice effects in this.
Yeah,
as well, because there's one character who's a small China, who's made of China, basically, and I thought the way they animated her and her face, very well done.
Cool,
nice. There are some little down points in the special effects.
Yeah,
like when you see characters running. Right, you've got say you've got James Franco and Mila Kunis running from something. Yeah. Right. And you see them running over a bridge, and they're getting farther and farther away, and all of a sudden you can see they've CG'd them.
Yeah,
and it's like
they just sort of float off.
Oh no, that's so. Oh, you can so see that. It's not smooth enough. But Zach Braff's in it as well. He plays, of course, like everyone in the original Wizard of Oz, where they played two parts. People in this play two parts as well.
Yeah,
and he plays the wizard's assistant. In Kansas, but he also plays a character called Finley, who's this monkey with wings, not like the flying monkeys at all. That are or the flying baboons.
No, he's going to be the friendly one.
He is a friendly one, but he's also very funny. He's just the put upon workhorse.
Yeah,
he's got some good lines. So it did make me chuckle, some of the stuff he came out with. And you kind of feel sorry for him as well, because the wizard, not exactly, he's a complete and utter git to him.
Well, okay, fair enough.
Basically. So he just treats him like like
a piece of shit.
Yeah, like a piece of shit.
Nice.
But so if you get a chance, go see it. Don't necessarily sort of like break your neck to go and see it, but I would say if you do get a chance, go. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okie dokie. Anything else? What else you been doing?
Of course, the big one that came out last week.
You mean the two big ones?
Tomb Raider.
Yes,
the two. Well, actually, no, not two big ones, because they've actually made her realistic now.
Yes, that's
so she doesn't look like her chest doesn't look like a sort of like Telly Savalas and Yul Brynner find it out in a cloth sack. It's actually she's actually properly proportioned, you know. And I have to say, I think this is the best Tomb Raider game they've ever released. It's
I agree.
Just something about it. It's just got a little bit more to it.
I mean, I think I've pretty much finished it.
Yeah,
I think I've pretty much finished it. But it's like, I think it's what it is. It's the way the game seamlessly rolls into in-engine cutscenes and then back out in the middle of an action sequence to just make things feel more cinematic.
Exactly. And also the character you see you're playing is actually the same quality of graphics that's in
it's the in-engine
the cutscene. Yeah, exactly.
In-game engine. So very good, very good. And I just, the bit that always gets me is there's a scene where you're running down a corridor that's exploding in a mountainside village. And then basically the corridor comes away, and as it comes away...
If this is a spoilery thing...
No, it's not. It just, as it comes away from the wall, it starts to roll, and as it rolls, it goes into bullet time, and she's sort of falling faster than the corridor.
Yeah, there's one or two bits like that where it suddenly goes, so it gives you a chance to actually react and press the button.
But it also feels more like you're watching a film all the way through.
It is very interesting. Do you know, I thought it was like... those, and I know you don't like the series, but to me it seemed like they had the best elements of Lost, that sort of mystery about the whole place that you're in. It's very much like that.
Well, I mean, I mean, the story, you can see why it's an 18. I mean, the story goes quite dark quite quickly. And I have to say, I think the people who wrote this, or whoever was involved in this, I know it's Rhianna Pratchett wrote a lot of this. Yeah. But I think in a DVD collection there is Deliverance.
There must be.
There is Lost. And there is Descent. Descent.
Yeah, suffice to say, ladies and gentlemen, you are not sorry about shooting these fuckers in the eye. I'll tell you that there. Or
shooting them? Oh, no.
Are you having at them with the climbing axe?
With the climbing axe.
Have it through the back of the head.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, that's another thing as well. For the first time, Lara Croft has actually got a hand-to-hand combat move. She's never had it in any other game.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is the first time she's ever had it. So this pleased me. It's something I've been like, every single time I've played it, it's like, this was great, but where's the hand-to-hand combat move?
Yeah.
Nobody has guns that last forever. You don't have a million fucking, an everlasting supply of bullets, which they do in the guns in the original games.
Putting a metal hand axe through someone's neck is particularly satisfying.
I think the first 2 touches and then it goes Y for death.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Anyway,
fantastic. Really, really good. Easy to control as well, I thought.
Definitely. I thoroughly enjoy it, even though I'm not really a fan of that sort of Uncharted, Nathan Drake sort of Tomb Raider stuff. It doesn't really do anything for me, but this just flows so nicely, works so well. I just thought, no, I'm really enjoying this.
Well, I think that's probably the biggest sort of compliment that it can receive, really, from someone like yourself who doesn't actually like these sort of games.
No, I don't normally like them. I dusted it off and smashed it. I mean, I've done 7 hours on it, solid. And at 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning, I was sitting there and it was like, I know I'm at the end, but I've just got to go a little bit further, and it's just throwing more and more bad guys at you, and you're just like, I
want to see what's round this corner. Just to the next base camp. Something else I've got to mention as well for anybody who's actually played these games in the past. I mean, there's always that air of you need a player's guide sometimes to finish those old games, because otherwise, you won't see the little crack down the bottom of the screen that's covered by, 10 tons of fucking cornflower sacks.
And flashes in a particular angle. And
exactly. But in this game, what they've actually done is they've got the facility now where you go into a sort of like a Tomb Raider vision where you press the shoulder button, and what it does, everything goes grey, but all the relevant stuff goes bright yellow.
But as soon as you move, it goes back out of it.
Exactly. So you do get time to stand there and scan the environment. It does slow time down as well, so you get to do all of that.
Yeah, so you can't do that Batman Arkham Asylum thing of just running around in that vision all the time.
I like that. That's
also,
great. Really
also,
good
she's got a lot of sort of incidental dialogue which is related to the actual puzzles. There's one puzzle which I won't say because if you might not have played it yet, but it requires a lot of timing and a lot of kind of, what am I doing wrong? Am I doing this the right way around or whatever? And then basically after a few minutes, Lara just kind of gives a little hint. She just says something like, oh, this needs a bit more timing, or, oh, I need to turn this handle first, I think, or something like that. And she just it's kind of nicely done. It's nicely played because it just feels like she's talking to herself, and then all of a sudden it's just like, hold on, no, this isn't just some incidental old rubbish. This is actually a fucking clue to help you through. And like I say, I just felt like the game just flowed all the time and didn't stop for a second, and it's been really good. And like I say, this may be the first Tomb Raider game I've actually finished, because I will probably absolutely annihilate it tomorrow if Carol's does a babysitting thing.
I have to say, I don't think I'm ever going to swap this one either. I really like it that much, and I think for me personally, it's going to be one of those games I take out every once in a while and start playing again.
Okay,
Yeah,
and anything else to report? Anything?
No.
Okay.
Actually,
no. Okay. Sure.
Nothing that comes to mind.
We did go for a drink with Herc, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
There was the lady in the pub as well.
Jen, who did say she was going to listen as well.
Yes.
So, hello, Jen, if you're listening. Hello, Jen.
Yes. Yes, who just randomly started up a conversation based on Red Dawn. Well, that's how it started, wasn't it?
I think it was.
But anyway,
we got to talking about that Tom Hanks picture with the drunk bloke.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That was that. That very night though, very night, very nearly ended up as the end of The Thing for me.
Crossed with The Shining. Because basically coming home last night, it was freezing cold, and I'd completely forgotten I'd given my house keys to Carol, and going to the pub was kind of a spontaneous thing. Oh dear.
And next thing I know, I'm there at like midnight trying to ring her because I haven't got a door key, and it's getting colder and colder, and my fingers are going numb, and I'm going blue, and it's like I'm trying to ring, and then it's like I finally ended up literally, because she had her earplugs in, the phone was on silent, all the lights were off, and I'm kind of out in the front porch going and I'm sort of ringing, and then finally I must have caught it just as she got up to go to the loo or something, and then she went, hello? And I went, open the fucking door! Open the fucking door!
Let me in!
And she came downstairs, she's like, what's going on? And there I am, I'm actually in the fetal position at the front door because I was that cold. Kind of
I'm an ice pop.
So there was that.
Lick me!
Yes, pour hot tea on my head. I watched a film which I actually put the trailer up on the Blackdog Facebook group this day.
The Bay.
The Bay. Now,
actually, I mean, when you think about it, it is quite relevant, isn't it, to this week's now?
It's a film about parasites. So
with the name Bay at the end of it.
Bay,
there you are.
Yes. But yes, what happened was, I just happened to see it, and it's not super unique in the way it does found footage, but it's kind of got a nice structure around it. The idea is that in 2009, and this is trying to be as non-spoilery as possible, in 2009...
This is all in the trailer anyway, you're talking about.
Something happened to a town around the Chesapeake Bay, and the government doesn't want to talk about it, no one wants to talk about it, and basically one reporter, she managed to survive what was going on. And then what happens is the film starts with her being interviewed over Skype by someone who's got hold of all of the footage from different places and different things, and finally pieced it all together. And so what you have is like a sort of an eco horror film, but kind of crossed with a bit of Jaws in there, with a sort of like, the mayor doesn't want to close the town, doesn't want to do anything, and so everything's kind of going. But the way the found footage is working is it's really cool. So they kind of have things like, you've got the videos, and you've got the FaceTime cameras of people who are talking to each other. Then you've got Skype conversations that were recorded. And then on top of that, you've got things like the police, when the police are going around town, when all the disaster, this whole thing, whatever it is going on. You've got like the cop style thing of the camera on the dashboard of the car, looking at the cops themselves, and then you got another one which is looking on the bonnet of the car. Then you got CCTV around town, and then all the way it's being monologued over by one of the people who survived. So instead of that sort of 10 people went into the forest and died, and here we found the footage, it's actually her making a documentary from all the collated footage from actual sources. So like security cameras in hospitals. Some pieces of footage from CDC and all these other, Homeland Security and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's really cool because it suddenly makes found footage more like a documentary. So you don't get to see a huge amount of like special effects going off, but when you do, it's kind of like, and it's like yuck.
Yeah,
and
it's. I think those sort of films are best treated with the more subtle you can go with it. It's that kind of thing of, what was that? That, and you find you see something, and it's, you think, maybe I'm not looking at this correctly.
Yeah, well, actually, there's one, for example, bit where two people will die, but which is no shock in this film, but there's lots of them going on. But 2 people die, and it's literally just he's filming her with a phone camera, and then something happens, and basically then you get the monologue saying, "Oh yeah, we found this phone 6 months later down on the beach, and actually we never found the bodies. That's how come we knew they disappeared." And it's like, so there's sort of things like that. So they kind of give every bit of footage a bit of context, which kind of is really nice, rather than just like random shots of the sky. It's all like the relevant bits culled from official sources, if you know what I mean. It's really nicely done. It's a nice idea. It's played out really well. And if I had a problem with it, it's that the end, they try and focus on 2 characters who really have been out of the film for most of it. And then all of a sudden it's like we suddenly have to care about these 2 characters, and one of them is actually recognisable as an actress. You've seen her before, and it's clear that the film was made before she became an actress who got well known, and she's from Cabin in the Woods, and you go, where have I seen her before? Oh, it's her. And then as soon as you do that, you go, oh, and it kind of takes you out of it a bit.
Have you managed to see? What was that? Because there's one found footage film that I now use as a yardstick for any of these, and that's the Lake
Mungo.
Lake Mungo.
No, I still haven't seen that,
because that's the one I think to me is the most convincing found footage film, or not found footage, but documentary style film I've ever seen.
Yeah, that and The Last Broadcast, but again, The Last Broadcast kind of goes a bit wonky at the end, but. Yeah, I would say check out the Bay first, because I'm going to check out Lake Mungo anyway. I keep meaning to, but check the Bay out because it's in the cinema now, and it's available through other means because it actually came out in the States on video on demand. So that's how it kind of it's circulating around. So, but it is worth a look, and it does have a couple of really nifty sort of jump scares, and it has lots of sort of moments.
I've seen bits in the video, or should I say in the trailer? Yeah.
I don't think. I don't think that really kind of does it. There's a few moments when you realise what's going on, and then they show you like the real inspiration for it, and it's like they show you that, and then you suddenly realise what you're up against, and it's like, oh shit. But anyway, yes. Moving on swiftly. It's well worth checking out, so it's well worth a look. Definitely do that. What else did I watch? I watched Cloud Atlas, but we'll talk about that next week.
We are going to do a 10-minute spoiler zone on that one, aren't we?
Me.
Save it.
But,
Save
anyway,
it.
Yeah. Yes. And what else? Apart from freezing to death, I don't know. I don't know anything else has been going on really. Oh, I played Mass Effect, didn't I? I played Mass Effect multiplayer.
Yes, we all did. Yes, we all got on and played that.
Yep, that was very good.
That was fun.
Very good fun. That was very good fun.
When we brought it down to bronze level, then it became fun.
Yeah, then it became fun with bloody battle hamster Matt Stevens going,
"Oh, let's go platinum!"
Platinum, yeah, woo! And then going off with his little sword and killing everyone while we stood there and just died.
We're just target practice for the enemy.
Alone. Anyway, what else? And there was something else. I've done. I've done at work, but I couldn't say before. Nah, fuck it. I can't remember.
Okay. Can I just mention something? By the way, this week I'm going to be. There's a show starting on. I think it's on BBC Three.
Yeah.
It's called In the Flesh. It's something you told me about. For anybody that hasn't heard of it, it is a zombie show, but it's a zombie show with a difference, because what it is in the story goes that the zombie apocalypse has happened and it's finished, and the humans that were infected have been cured, and they're trying to reintegrate them back into society.
Yeah.
And the trailer, I think, for this one, where it's just a bloke talking about how he doesn't feel ready to go back, and the government saying, well, that means you are ready because, well, you actually feel.
Yeah.
And that I love that trailer.
Yeah.
I've seen a few other trailers as well.
I'm hoping it's going to be good. I hope it's going to live up to its promise and not be a BBC Three teen angsty drama.
So am I.
Yeah. But
have you seen the information films they released.
No, I was going to try and keep away from all of that stuff.
They've just done. No, they're just like the. They've done these like PowerPoint presentations that the BBC Three have released as trailers for it.
Right.
And it's what to do if you come across an undead.
Yeah, a revenant, they call them, or something.
In this, they just call them. They call the thing the Rising. The actual event where everybody came back. You may have noticed that people have started coming back from the dead, and it's all done in that very sort of hush change with nice little simple animations and stuff like this.
Yeah.
The interesting thing in there, though, in the trailer, is they say, let's talk about a few myths where the undead are concerned. You cannot become infected if you're bitten. Yeah. This is a myth.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And it's like, well, okay. Well, this might actually explain why people survive because they're not actually dead. Maybe they are just infected. But we'll see when the show starts. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Kind of ironic given the film we're going to be doing next week as well, isn't it?
It is. So it's a bit of a sort of a new take on the whole zombie thing.
Zombies week. Yes.
A twist, a little slant.
Yes. Oh, that was the other thing. It was Mother's Day on Sunday.
Yes, it was.
Yes, and I made dinner. I actually made roast dinner, and I didn't kill myself.
I was going to say, and how is your mum?
My mum's quite happy and healthy and everything. That's all good. Yeah. Actually, do you know what?
Keeping an eye on her.
Do you know what I managed to do though? I just, shut up.
How's that roast dinner coming for you then?
Yeah. How's that gastric flu? Good, is it? Waking,
I'm feeling a little run down.
Peaky. Anyway, but I was thinking, this is going to be one of those things I'm going to be recounting on the podcast. Fucking burnt myself to death, set my trousers on fire, and all that sort of thing. But actually, I made a really reasonable roast dinner. I made nice stuffing and onion sauce and all that sort of stuff. I went fucking balls out, man. I did the lot.
You went balls out, so you did this naked again?
Oh, no, I did not do this naked. No, but I tell you what, the thing was
some stuffing.
But I tell you what, the funniest bit?
Yeah,
I'm sitting there and I've done it all, and I thought, done it, sorted. I have done everything. I have made it all the way through. I've got nothing to talk about on the podcast about slicing a finger off or anything like that. Then, as I was putting all the knives away into the dishwasher, I got fucking spiked through the finger by a plastic shard that splintered off on the fucking handle.
You do this deliberately, don't you? It's like, I've got to harm myself. I've done something. It's a bit boring, but I've got to splinter myself now.
I've got this, and it's under the skin. I can't get it out.
You need to get in there, mate, with a razor blade or something.
Yeah, I do.
You need to get that out. Trust me.
Yeah, but it's like it's a plastic shard. Of all the things I could possibly do to myself with knives and hot materials and boiling water and fucking vegetables, for Christ's sake, and it's like. Yeah, when I'm actually clearing away in the dishwasher, a piece of a handle has come off and stuck in my finger. What kind of cunt does that?
Well, obviously you.
Yeah, well, obviously me. Yeah, but there you go.
So that was the week that was.
That was the week that was. There you go. See, not every week has to be entertaining. However, anyway, but on the other hand, I'm about to order a new table for the computer.
Are you?
Yes.
Is this?
It's got to be assembled. So there's all sorts of chances.
Oh,
that
excellent!
Go wrong. There you go.
Oh, there we go. That's this week's entertainment. Or next week's entertainment.
Yeah, next week's entertainment. And just for the people who won the Tommy Wiseau Builder Wiseau competition and came first and all that sort of stuff, just know that the key rings have arrived now, and all prizes will be going out tomorrow, which is probably when you're listening to it now. So, yes, they will be out and with you within the next day or so. All right? There you go. Ta-da!
With bated breath, you are waiting.
Yes, for tiny fucking Tommy Wiseau key rings and a Blu-ray.
It's a tiny Tommy.
It's a teeny tiny Tommy Wiseau.
Teeny tiny Tommy.
Teeny tiny Tommy. Anyway, shall we have some news?
Yeah, go on. Hey, we're gonna hear some news now.
Okay, film news, or just news. I'm starting to suffer from some kind of mad fucking disease thing, so Save yourself.
Cheers.
Anyway.
That's nicely segues into next week's movie.
Yeah, if I'm still around for it and not coughing up blood. Anyway. Let's start off with the trailer news, which is obviously Star Trek trailer number 3. Star Trek Into Darkness turned up. You've just watched it, Darren. What do you think?
I'm glad to say it doesn't reveal to me. It doesn't seem to reveal too much, which is good.
Yes,
it showed one or two bits, like different camera angles we haven't seen, but I don't think it's a spoiler. This one,
no. So that's good. I mean, it hasn't really done anything to sort of change my mind on it. I don't think it'll change his mind on anyone. If you're a skeptic, you're going to still be a skeptic, and if you're not, then you're already on board anyway, and the trailer's a bit pointless.
I don't think it's a sort of like a blinding light on the road to Damascus thing that Iron Man 3 that trailer was.
No.
But it's all right. It's still laying the same goods out on the table, if slightly differently.
Yes, but it's got a bit more Kirk in it, I think, is the key. There's a lot more of him sort of glowering.
Yeah.
And there did seem like a sort of like a scene in it which felt like everyone looked at the last film and went, so what was the really good bit? Oh, that skydive bit. Yeah, we'll do that again. But we'll do it again in a slightly different way.
We're going to shoot Chris Pine out of a cannon.
We're just going to fire him in a straight line and see what happens. But, that was about it, really. Next piece of news is Lucasfilm Star Wars news now. Basically, Lucasfilm put out a press release saying that awful fucking Star Wars Detours CGI cartoon series, comedy cartoon series, by Seth Green is being shelved indefinitely. So that's good news. The press release basically said that they did not feel it was time to have a comedy ahead of Star Wars Episodes 7, 8, and 9. So it could be anything up to sort of like 6 years away before we ever see Detours again, if we see Detours at all. So that's quite cool. The other thing they announced was that Clone Wars for Cartoon Network is pretty much wrapping up this season. But once it's wrapped, the Lucasfilm animation team are going to be working on another era of Star Wars. And given that the thing that I saw at work today kind of hints at like now Clone Wars reaching Revenge of the Sith. I mean, it's pretty much right on top of it now. So I think the plan is to just bridge that final gap. Because spoiler, I suppose, if you watch Clone Wars, but there's a scene where one of the clones has Order 66 trigger early.
Oh.
In the middle of a gunfight, and he just walks straight over to a Jedi, puts the gun to the back of her head, and fires in the middle of a gunfight. And all the other clones don't realise what's going on, and they basically think he's just gone mad and drag him off.
Right.
So, yeah, it's getting right up to Order 66, which is Revenge of the Sith, and yes, and yes. So so basically, there's going to be another Lucasfilm TV show thing, but it's obviously going to be done by Lucasfilm Animation. No idea what it is yet, but it's going to tie in to a new era. So it may even be post Return of the Jedi. I don't know. No one really knows, to be honest. But essentially, Clone Wars is finishing in the next sort of few months, and that'll be the end of it. Which is a shame, really, because it actually turned out in the end to be a very good show.
Yeah.
Which is it's a show that basically I think got unfairly treated because a lot of people just went, oh, Star Wars again, and the first season was pretty poor. But I think just like Next Generation and stuff like that, I think once you got past that initial kind of bite down on this really horrible, fucking cheesy, teeny version of Star Wars and got through the second season, the third and fourth, getting progressively closer to the films. I think it was getting really good. But hey ho. there was something else I was going to have as a piece of news, and my iPad has just gone off. Oh, yes. Everyone, take a second and just, lament the fact that Nick Cage has announced officially he won't be doing any more Ghost Rider films. Oh, terrible. Why, Nick? Come back to us.
My heart, it breaketh.
Yeah. On the other hand, I think the general gist is that they're going to be rebooting Ghost Rider in the near future.
Damn fucking right they are.
And I guess it will pass back to back to Marvel.
In which case, he will probably show up in the Avengers at some point.
Well, that's possible, but
because he was an Avenger.
Was he?
Yes, Ghost Rider became one of the Avengers
for a while. I guess. Oh,
mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it was he.
Before we get loads of angry emails and tweets.
Why don't we just wiki that?
We'll just wiki that. No, actually, don't. You know what? I don't care. At this point, I'm feeling a bit. Yes. Other than that, there's not a lot of news going around. We saw a picture today on the front cover of Total Film. Lois Lane has finally been revealed for Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Which really, I mean, as the article says on Badass Digest, you could be forgiven for actually forgetting that she even was in the film based on the trailers and everything else so far. But yeah, what do you think? I mean, it's Amy Adams, isn't it?
I will reserve judgment on her
until
yeah. All I will say is I think she's better looking than Margaret Kidder.
Yes. She got a mean figure in a pencil skirt, so...
Oh, yes, she does.
There you go.
Good pair of legs.
Yes, can't go wrong with a nice set of pins.
Mm-hmm.
And on that sexist note, I think that's the end of the fucking news, because we got nothing this week, which means, obviously, that means that someone will die or there'll be a massive announcement 5 seconds after I hit stop on this record.
Mm-hmm.
But, in the meantime, shall we move on to having a Jim Moon's Profanasaurus?
Let's do it.
Orangutan. Noun. Rob Zombie.
Thank you so much for that, Jim. A nice, short, sweet one from you this week. And if you want to hear more of Jim, listen to him on Hypnobobs, which you can find on hypnogoria.com, geekplanetonline.com, or iTunes. Also, he's had a little bit of a break the last couple of weeks, but he's also he's done a review, which you can find on Geek Planet Online about Jago, which is Kim Newman's new book.
Right.
So check that out. It's a very nice, well-written review. There you go. But we'll hear more from him at the end of the cast, no doubt. Well, actually, of course there's no doubt. It's always at the end of the cast.
No doubt.
He's the man who plays us out. No doubt. Right.
Like a boss.
Like a boss. Right, okay, so let's not dally any longer. Let's pay the penance.
Fuck it, let's get it over with.
Just fucking do it.
Just
right.
do it.
Transformers 2.
I wanna kill myself, la 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 la. I'm gonna hang myself, do wah wah wah. There's no reason for me to live. I wanna kill myself, la 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 la. I'm gonna shoot myself, do wah wah wah. Cross my heart and hope to die.
Yes, Transformers 2.
This should be the tagline. Transformers 2.
Right. Fucking hell. Directed by Michael Cunty Bay, produced by Tom DeSanto and Don Murphy.
I can see from here there's not very much in the wiki.
Oh, there's lots in the wiki,
Is there?
unfortunately. Based on Transformers by Hasbro.
Oh.
Starring Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, Josh Duhamel, Tyrese Gibson, John Turturro. Written by Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman, who do the fucking Star Trek film.
Yep.
Then it was rewritten by Aaron Kruger.
I want to know how bad it was before. How bad it was that made them want to get a rewrite
Well,
and turn it into this pile of shit.
well, get this, yeah. The
Yep.
budget was $200 million.
And that's
That
the
was
most.
that was the budget.
That's
yeah?
the most expensive pile of crap I think I've ever. Do
Do you want to hear the really depressing thing?
Go on.
The really depressing thing?
Yeah.
The box office. Do you know how much it took?
800 million.
836 million.
Oh, Jesus Christ Almighty!
There's a lot of morons in this world.
People of the world, listen to me.
Why? But anyway,
We have films like Dread, okay, that are not going to get a sequel, okay, which is a much more worthier
it
film.
was
than
made
fucking
for 50 million.
Exactly.
Ugh.
What are you doing out there going to see these pieces of shit? Honestly,
This one especially. Let's just read a bit. I won't go through the whole thing. It's too fucking depressing. I mean, the film's major hurdle was that during 2007
what you mean
2008...
that bit between the opening credits and the finishing credits?
Well, actually, apparently there was a Writers Guild of America writers' strike, and then that was swiftly followed by a potential Directors Guild strike later on in that year, which basically killed the movie stone dead almost. And essentially, when Robert Orci and Alex Kurtzman had to write the film, they originally passed on the opportunity to write the sequel due to scheduling conflicts, and then after writing a first draft, the writer's strike hit. Then studio hired Aaron Kruger, who had impressed Bay and Hasbro with his knowledge of the Transformers mythology. So that was good. Between the three of them, they were paid $8 million to write that.
Fucking hell.
The screenwriting was interrupted by the strike, as we said. But Bay then, by that point, had a 60-page treatment, which he then expanded himself. There you go. There's your key right there. That's it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. The treatment was handed in the night before the strike began, and basically Bay took it away and then basically expanded upon it himself. Then, while they were locked behind the strike, Kurtzman and Orci would, where possible, rewrite elements to try and help it out. But actually, the thing is, that makes it even worse, because, fucking 60 pages means 60 minutes. It's a page a minute on 24 frames a second.
Yeah. So
So
the other hour
they-
and fucking...
Where did the other 2.5 hours come from? Was it 2 hours?
No,
It was 2 hours.
It was 2.5 hours long.
Oh.
The film. If you watch it on
Fuck my old
and
boots.
a channel that's got adverts, of course, then it's going to be 3 hours.
Yeah. The film had a $200 million budget, which was $50 million more than the first film. And that also included the fact that Michael Bay was interested in including an aircraft carrier transformer and Dinobots. But then Orci dismissed the Dinobots because he was saying they're just too weird. Michael Bay told Empire that Megatron would not be resurrected, claiming a new tank form of a toy character would, and then it turned out that actually he'd been lying all along. Hasbro became more involved in the designs of the robots during the effects stage, and the company, along with Takana Tomy, suggested that the filmmakers suggested that combining robots be the main draw of the sequel. So the Constructicons. Bay also used real F-16 fighting Falcons and tanks when filming the battles.
Wow.
Many of the new Autobots cars were supplied by General Motors, which affected the design. And in the end, the film had 46 robots, where the original had 14. Scott Farr returned as the visual effects supervisor and anticipated a moodier use of lighting as well as deeper roles for the Decepticons. So he stated that with a bigger deadline post-production, the whole thing would become a circus. The producers expected a bigger budget and the special effects worked out. The Transformers would have a larger role. Peter Cullen recalled, "Don Murphy mentioned to me, only because of its tremendous expense to animate Optimus Prime, he'll be just in a certain amount of Transformers." So, essentially what he's saying is that Optimus Prime fucking carking it for like 90% of the film
was necessary.
Was just a budget concern. On a $200 million film.
I'm sure Mr. Prime would be, well impressed with that.
Shooting everything in IMAX required that the special effects took longer because of the higher resolution. And in fact, some frames of Optimus Prime and Devastator were taking 72 hours a frame to render.
Jesus.
While Industrial Light and Magic used 15 terabytes of data space for Transformers. Then they later moved up to 140 terabytes of data space for the sequel. Particularly problematic effects were the lighting, which with some scenes of jet fire inside the Smithsonian required 41 light sources, and the destruction of a pyramid, which appears in like only 5 shots, took 7 months to simulate.
Christ.
Oh God, cancel that. What's going on there? $151 million was spent on the marketing of the film.
Should have played that into the fucking right.
Yeah. And then a sequel and a prequel were written in comic book form called The Reign of Starscream. And I've lost the will to live. Let's see if I can find something about the reviews.
I think we know what the reviews are going to say.
Yeah, everyone basically caned it, and then actually said that the two twins were terrible. Oh, they are. There was considerable negative reactions of the characters of Mudflap and Skids, who were perceived as embodying racial stereotypes. Manola Dargis of the New York Times said that the characters indicated the black and white minstrels remains in a fashion of Jar Jar Binks. Critic Scott Mendelsohn said, "To say that these two are the most astonishingly racist characters I've ever seen in a mainstream motion picture would be an understatement." Harry Knowles of Ain't It Cool went further, asking the readers not to support this film because you'll be taking your children to see a film with the lowest forms of humour, stereotypes and racism. Director Bay had attempted to defend the film as good, clean fun and insisted that we just put in more personality in. Writers Robert Orkey and Alex Kurtzman responded to the controversy with, "It's really hard for us to sit here and try and justify it. I think that would be foolish, but if someone wants to be offended by it, that's their right. We're very surprised when we saw it too. And it's a choice that was made. If anything, it shows to you that the writers lose control quite quickly of every aspect of the movie." Another major complaint about the film was Bay's usage of IMAX. Instead of using IMAX for a complete unbroken sequence similar to Christopher Nolan's approach in Dark Knight, Bay chose to use the format primarily as a shot-by-shot basis, which meant that it kept jumping from 35mm to IMAX, almost sometimes in the same sequence, which apparently caused jarring and highly unpleasant experience for most moviegoers.
No, I think that was just the film itself, Doesn't matter about the ratio or the whatever.
It won a number of awards, but the best ones were the MTV Movie Award for the best what the fuck moment, which was Isabel Lucas turning into a Decepticon.
Yes.
Shia LaBeouf was nominated by Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice as a favourite movie actor. But on the other hand, the film was nominated for 7 Razzie Awards, including Worst Actress for Megan Fox, Worst Supporting Actress for Julie White, Worst Screen Couple, Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, Worst Prequel, Remake, Rip-Off or Sequel, and it also won 3 in the Worst Picture, Worst Director and Worst Screenplay categories. So, there you go. I'm not going to go any further with that because you're falling asleep. I feel like shit, and this film really don't deserve it. So, Darren, what did you think?
Oh, I can't. You know what? I lost interest in it. I just did. After a while, my brain just went clang shut like a fucking bunker just before a nuclear strike. It just wouldn't let any more information about this can of shite into my brain. I just saw images after a while. All it was a like the first one. It was a bunch of rolled up fucking coat hangers rolling across the screen. That was the fight sequence.
Someone described it to me at work as sticking your head in a bucket of Meccano and then sitting in a tumble dryer.
Michael Bay has not learnt his lessons from the first one, where it should be pull the camera back so we can see what the fuck is going on. You know, if you want to do the fight scenes with the robots, fine. Have them whacking the shit out of one another, punching and what have you, but don't go right in there.
Yeah.
You know? Just,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was... I'm going to just interrupt you because it's just otherwise it's going to be all of us going, all the time. But I'm getting acid flashbacks. Like, fucking Optimus Prime became Stone Cold Killer all the way through it. And then there was that bit when he rips the head off of the Fallen at the end and he goes, give me your face. And he's like, what the fuck was that?
In your face.
In your face.
I'm the goddamn Optimus Prime.
Oh, it was just such a film full of so many fucking awful choices.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it RC, the fucking little fucking God. I mean, apart from the fact that Megan Fox keeps him around, then the fact that he's shagging a leg and she's like, yeah, well, it keeps him loyal. He's like, well, if you're letting him do it, maybe you should have done it to Shia LaBeouf. Maybe he would have been all right. But I tell you what, the one thing that really got me, that's when I went, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Was that bit when Shia LaBeouf gets bloody or attempted rape by the weird Decepticon alien queen.
The fembots.
I mean, it was bad enough that it was bloody obvious that something weird was going on. But the fact of the matter was that you had to get the blue pants arse shot.
Yes.
Watch the tail come out, try and stick it in his ear, and it had a tongue on the fucking end. It's like, what kind of fucked up universe are you living in? Because
I rest my case, Your Honour.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? And then and then on top of that, she's sitting in Bumblebee earlier, and Bumblebee just pisses all over her. And she gets up and stomps off with a huff, and it's like, you're a fucking Decepticon. Why would you do that?
Oh, I don't bloody know. Why are you asking me? I didn't write this piece of crap.
And then there was fucking the fight in the forest, which just went on and on and on and on and on and on. And then there was fucking Jetfire. What the fucking hell happened there? And then it was like, then you had like an hour and a half into the film, finally they give you the plan, the Decepticon plan, which is to detonate the sun. Detonate the sun. That's the plan. And it's like, if that was the plan, then shall we have that plan? I don't know, at the beginning of the film. So we've got some stake in what's going on, because fucking 1 hour and 20 minutes to get to that point of fuck all happening. And let's be honest, fuck all did happen.
Fuck all did happen. It was boring and crap. It was rubbish. Horrible.
I mean, I just every single scene just had me with my jaw on the floor going, what the fucking hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Why am I watching this? What is going on? I mean, famously, we, as you'll see on the Facebook group, but I conned the Tangential Deviation guys into, when it was the Eclectic Podcast, into actually
of course
watching this film. So they're probably laughing their asses off now.
Oh, this is terrible. I'm not watching 3.
No.
No way am I watching 3.
But I tell you, the thing is, I tell you what's really funny is we've seen really bad films. I mean, we have seen some bad films in our time. But this one, I think, is the most offensive.
Do you know what? Even I think House of the Dead kind of had me watching it just to see, how it would go. This, I think I went to the toilet at some point, and I almost never came back again. That was it. I almost never got. I thought I'm quite happy sitting here playing on my iPad, or should I say my Android pad.
I mean, I mean, the only thing that kept me watching it was actually being on Twitter, and we were hamming it and hitting it all the way through the film. And I don't know, I just think the thing that gets me the most is, as you say, we watch things like House of the Dead, and we watch things like, I don't know, fucking Clash of the Titans and really dull shit like that. And it's like, yeah, they're bad films, but they're bad films because they almost got the right to be. I mean, they were never going to be high art. But this thing, $200 million and a 60-page script.
There is no excuse.
For an hour and 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Just think of all those films that struggle to get made. Maybe there are probably some really, really good ones we've never, ever seen and are never going to see because they couldn't get the financing. No. And yet this piece of shit did.
And what's even worse is $800 million worth of tickets got sold to it. That's what baffles me. I mean, it's just like, just everything about it was fucking wrong on so many levels. Not just the fact that it was Transformers with bollocks and all that kind of shit, but it was just like, there's nothing at stake. For an hour and a half, there is nothing at stake. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's the plot. It's like the 60-page treatment was actually the last hour. And it's like, well, then what are we doing? And it just feels like Michael Bay was just like, he managed to hire the Air Force and sat there just knocking one out over shots of F-16s and
what can we make this
fucking
into?
Aircraft carriers.
Can you tell what it is yet?
Yeah, I think he just wanted an excuse just to sit on an aircraft carrier and film it, and then go, oh, actually, I've got to make a film here, so I'll set it on an aircraft carrier. Oh, I've got was it the fucking drones? And fucking Sam's parents suddenly get randomly teleported into the Sudan and into the fucking Egypt and all that. So, like, why? Then you get random scenes of, just a random shit of like just Sam picks up a shard and the shard burns through the floor, and then all of a sudden everything goes crazy. And as all these different appliances in the kitchen are going mad, we have a random cutaway to 2 dogs fucking on a bird table. It's like, what on earth? What on earth is that about? What is that even relevant?
Obviously, Circle of Life. That's what it is. The circle jerk of life.
And it's like it genuinely felt like it just, Michael Bay was just driving around filming shit, and he just had loads of random bits on his phone, and he just thought, oh, that's quite funny, 2 dogs shagging each other. And then it's like, oh yeah, there's my kitchen, I think we'll put some Transformers in that. And it's like, what, why? And then all along it's just like, the government agents are complete cunt, and the fucking wankery with his parents, the fucking flatmate, Mr. Squealy
him,
Spanish bloke.
Jesus Christ!
I'm going with you. Oh, fucking hell! And then John Turturro in a fucking chef's hat, and with industrial amounts of secrets living underneath a bakery. It's like, really, and I just, every mortal fucking thing of this cocking film was just an utter fucking waste of everyone's time, everyone's money. It was just an insult at every step. The fight in the forest, when it was in a trailer, looked quite interesting. But then what? Well, then it goes on and on and on. And you can't have any investment in a fight where Optimus Prime smashes people in the face with a fucking sword, they get back up and they carry on having the fight. It's like, this is like Tonka toys being smashed together. I don't give a fuck. My daughter's got 2 indestructible toy cars that she repeatedly bangs together. Right, that doesn't make a 2-hour film, no matter whether or not I film it in the forest or not. I just felt like I was looking at a box of cunting junk made by an idiot, directed by an idiot, written by idiots for an idiot, so that idiots could go and fucking look at it. Because I tell you what, if any of you listening today, went and paid good money to see this at the cinema, then I want you to stop listening. I want you to stop listening, and I want you to walk out into the street, and your last thoughts going through your head as you try and catch a lorry with your teeth is, the reason you did this is because you're a fucking idiot. Seriously. I love all our listeners. I love everyone who sends feedback in. But if you willingly went to the cinema to watch this film and paid good money to see it, then frankly you need to be taking out the gene pool for the good of mankind in case you spread your idiot seed across the universe. Seriously, it's the fucking most diabolical piece of shit I've ever sat through. And I hated Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I hated all the output of Paul W.S. Anderson. But all of it felt like a person working with a small amount of money trying to make something happen. And it's like, fine, noble attempts and failures all, but fuck me, $200 million and 2.5 hours of my fucking life, and they didn't even have a good goddamn grace to stick fucking Megan Fox with her ass hanging out for more than 10 seconds. You know, you couldn't even just sit there and go, whoa. I mean, that I would have been happy with that.
Yeah,
but no, you had to have some dodgy Australian supermodel with a tongue on a piece of fucking cheese wire sticking out of her arse.
Do you know what? I'm fed up with even thinking about this movie right now.
Should we do some feedback?
Yeah, let's just do feedback. That's got to be the shortest section. It's bollocks.
Do you know what? I want to do a review of this that just says the word cunt. All right? Optimus Prime is a cunt. Fucking cunts. I tell you one thing, I couldn't even tell you all the other characters. There was apparently 42 fucking Transformers in that thing. I couldn't name one of them.
Optimus Primarch, we'll call him from now on.
And fucking... Oh, actually, I can name one. Jetfire. The flatulent, pissing, old Transformer. A Transformer with a fucking beard.
You know who else was in it as well, who played little part in the background, was Soundwave.
Well, he was a satellite. At least that made fucking sense. But even then, it's like... What did he do? I'm taking over a satellite.
Why does he need to actually speak and say what he's doing when he's up in space all by himself?
What, when talking to his little robot friends that he was firing down to the planet?
Oh, was he doing those? Oh, right, I see.
Well, but even then, it's like, actually, you know what?
See, I lost interest.
There you go. If the microphone didn't pick that up, that was a big chilly fart that I just made. I mean, really... The tongue robot thing was it. That's when I left the fucking planet. And then, what on earth was Hugo Weaving doing? Being Megatron. He got about 4 lines. And then their plan was to sit there and look at the Fallen and go, ah. That was it. And the Fallen, what was he all about? And then there was that whole thing with the mythical chamber of other... fucking original Decepticons.
Chamber of Secrets?
Yeah. Bertie Wainstrop's barrel of bollocks. I mean, I don't know what the fuck it was. It's just like, the fucking thing about, like, the Transformers had been there back in the caveman days and back in the sort of the Egyptian pharaoh days. And then you look at the Fallen and you go, well, then why did they leave? Why does a shard of this stuff make Sam Witwicky see loads of symbols?
I don't care. I gave up caring ages ago.
It's bollocks.
It's all bollocks.
It's absolute fucking rubbish. Possibly the worst film I have ever watched.
Transformers 2, couldn't give a toss.
Transformers 2, cunt.
Yeah, cunt.
Cunt. Shall we do some feedback?
Yeah, go on. Let's do it.
Right, so the first piece of feedback is from Tom Elliott.
Oh, hello, Tom.
Hello, Tom. Formerly of the much lamented and much lost and missed Gentleman's Grindhouse and Twilight Zone podcast, and a long-time listener. And it's been a while since we heard from you, sir. It has been a while. It has been around for a while. But anyway, so Tom says, hello, gents. Basically, I see Transformers 2 as a triumph. Not a triumph for Michael Bay or anyone involved in this soul-destroying mess of a film, but rather a triumph for me. You see, when the first Transformers came out, I was an active member of the forum of a popular science fiction magazine. While it might be hard to believe now, at the time the reaction to the first Transformers movie was actually very positive, but I seemed to be a lone voice in the crowd who didn't think it was any good. So, the aftermath of the film's release, when everyone was singing Transformers praises, I spoke up and voiced about the problems with the film, only to be met with derisions from my fellow forum members who wouldn't believe that it wasn't a masterpiece. The main comment I got was, it's a film about big bloody robots fighting each other. What more do you want? So it would seem that your film about big bloody great robots fighting each other gets a free pass to be as shit as it wants to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Transformers 2. If any of those fuckers are still singing the "It's got big robots fighting each other, what more do you want" tune, I'll happily rub baby oil all over my arse and bend over the nearest Ford Capri. Shift to the present day, where the geek community now seems to have nothing but universal hatred for the Transformers films. Show me one person who still hides behind that big bloody robots fighting defense of Transformers and actually likes Transformers 2, and I'll wager that person doesn't exist. So, that's why Transformers 2 is a triumph for me. Because it exposed the argument for the bullshit it is. Shit didn't start with Transformers 2. It was there all along. Keep up the good work, gents. Tom. There you go.
Cheers, Tom.
Thanks very much, Tom. Okay. Oh, we got a Jack P. Starro one, so I'll leave that for the moment. We'll move to Murray Christensen.
Okay.
Do you want
Oh, yeah, I'll give that
to read
a go.
that one out? I'm only leaving Jack for a little bit because he's got lots of caps.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you're going to read them out in a very shouty voice.
Shouty voice! Yeah, but anyway, go for Murray.
Oh, blimey. Okay. Yes, so Murray writes, hi, guys.
Hello.
Firstly, shugly is not a typo. Scottish word meaning shaky. Right, well, thanks for that.
No, because remember last week we said he'd written a typo, hadn't he?
Exactly, yeah.
Thanks for the correction.
I'm teaching you another language. This week's word is ball bag. Definition, scrotum. As in, what ball bag gave Bay the money to make this shite? This is going somewhere. Ball bag can also refer to one Michael Bay, as in ball bag Bay, or ball bag Michael Bay. I was ready to defend Transformers 2, you know. Not
What?
trolling, not based on
What?
everything Bell's being entitled to a defence. No, I saw this in the cinema and came out entertained.
Oh, my word.
Hold on. There's a but coming up.
Okay, I was going to say, because otherwise he needs to go out in the street as per previously instructed.
Wait till the bombs for the bombs to start
Wait
dropping.
for the lorry to come around the corner.
Okay. Now, I'm a big fan of Transformers. It's a huge part of my childhood and forms a toxic mix of my natural childlike demeanour and heavy nostalgia. I enjoyed the first Bay Transformers film. It had its flaws, mainly some cringeworthy toilet humour, but it has become a film which I frequently have the urge to watch, particularly after a fair large amount of ale. So I enjoyed to the cinema, was given the special edition for Xmas, for Christmas, transforming DVD case and everything, and enjoyed it again. However, on watching this, I didn't feel it. There are still bits I enjoy. The opening scene with the Nest team and the Autobots hunting down rogue Decepticons is good, dumb but exciting. It's full of stupid, but my inner 8-year-old is cheering his little socks off. I could have happily have watched the film The Army Guy. I love those Michael Bay complex and memorable characters with the Autobots investigating the Fallen, probably with the help of Sam. A bit like a G.I. Joe crossover. We didn't get that. Instead, we have Sam's relationship with Megan Fox, tedious, his annoying roommate, and the bloody twins.
Oh, I
Good.
forgot to mention those.
What?
The fucking racist twins.
Oh, yeah. Good gods and the bloody twins. I've been aching for more Autobot character, or characters, but I meant expand on old veteran Ironhide or trusty medical Ratchet, even cocky Sideswipe. But no, we get two terrible stereotypes who are slightly less funny than Ebola. It is telling that Simons, who was bloody annoying in the first film, seems okay in comparison to arsehole flatmate and what's that?
Stereotypical?
Yeah, stereotypicals. Or something anyway. He's no less annoying. I just hit him... sorry, I think it's me being a bit tired. He's no less annoying. I just hit him... I just hit my maximum irritation level by the time he showed up. A rather disturbing addition in this. Look at the female characters. Aside from Sam's mum, they are eerily similar, be it Megan Fox, Deathbot Girl, or Physics Fangirls. I now feel I know too much about what Mickey Bay looks for in a woman, and indeed what may be found in his browser history after a lonely night in front of his computer. Rather more than I'd like to know at any rate. The final scene is obviously trying to trump up the final of the first film, but where that was an exciting chase battle, this gets dull. It doesn't help that the Decepticons are really hard to tell apart. In fact, that is the general problem throughout. Did he just kill Megatron? Oh no, it was Unnamedatron. The final scene also contains an excessive amount of military porn, even for me. It is well known that the Bay has a good relationship with the US military, but he goes a bit crazy with the toy box, even by his own standards. So what did I enjoy? Well, I like Sam's parents, like grumpy old Jetfire, the opening scene. Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime is probably the best thing in the film, but he spends most of his time dead. Movie Prime is a bit of a nutter. Cartoon comic Prime was a noble, selfless leader. Movie Prime rips Decepticons' heads open with hooks and shouts, "Give me your face!" like some sort of psychopath. The fight scenes are improved, although this means looking like Meccano having...
there, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The fight scenes are improved, although this means looking like Meccano having a sweaty knee trembler rather than an all-out orgy. I would argue that this film is not as awful as they say Thunderbirds. Actually, I would say Thunderbirds is much better than this film. I stayed awake, or should I say I stayed interested during Thunderbirds.
I mean, I would
wanted to see how it ended. But...
I would argue the thing with Thunderbirds is that it's aiming at a much younger audience, and the fact that we 30-odd somethings are sitting there with the rose-tinted specs on going, "Oh, I remember Thunderbirds when I was 8." That's a different kettle of fish of disaster movie, but
it's still better than this. This is it. It's still
at least has logic.
Even Thunderbirds can kick the crap out of Transformers.
Go on, carry on.
I would argue this film is not as awful as say Thunderbirds or The Phantom Menace.
No.
Yeah. Hold on. It's worse than The Phantom Menace. Actually, probably in the Phantom Menace area, a bad film improved only by nostalgic investment.
True.
Anyway,
yeah.
Damned by the faint praise, I will say I probably enjoyed this more than most who watch it, but that isn't saying much. Sorry for the epic post, and sorry I was unable to defend the film. I'm off to listen to the animated Moby Dick soundtrack and sob out lyrics to Dare. You can amuse yourself with the fact that my phone now predicts the word ball bag when I try to type bay. Keep up the good work, guys. Murray Pie Manatron Christensen.
Thank you very much for that.
I like that. Sorry for completely destroying your feedback.
You keep hold of that.
Oh, okay.
Right, I'm going to do this readout. Do you want to just go and make a cup of tea?
No, I'll wait here and listen to the feedback. That's fine.
Oh, it feels like an uphill struggle.
We'll have a break in a minute and go and have a cuppa.
I feel like
I'm
really
flagging
suffering.
More than Flaggy McFlag and the fucking Clan McFlag.
Yeah. The next piece of feedback I'm going to do is from Lisa Coates. I always get her name wrong. It's South African. She's an animator and and she's on the Blackdog Facebook group. And yes, generally, and now needs to be fueled purely by wine.
Does she?
Yeah, I got a little badge for her.
Oh, right.
She was having a bad day, and her avatar.
It's funny, a lot of women that I know seem to be fueled by wine.
Exactly.
Especially Laura. But
yes,
there you go.
There you go. Right. Anyway, so that's the introductions done. So she writes, Transgenders 2. Evening, Lee and Darren. While I'm busy stuffing my face with leftover wedding cupcakes and plotting how to rid the world of Origin, Steam and Uplay, I've decided to write some feedback for a change. Transformers 2. Right, off the bat, I didn't watch this film again. I'll be feedbacking from memory. This film is Bay at his best. I mean, wow, absolute classic. Let's face it, he'll never be able to top this. Why? Because it's a pile of shit and it can't get any bigger than Transformers 2. But there are some caca flavoured cherries sprinkled on top anyway. Megan Thumbs getting leg humped by Wheelie? Fuck off. Acting is just a word that has no place in this movie. Apparently, fuck off. Then there's getting up during the desert explosions scene. Standing in line at the toilets, drowning in line to get more popcorn and cola to drown myself in, and getting back to only see that it's still more explosions in the desert scenes. Oh, fuck off. I'm not going to say anything else, but trust me, there's more I want to rattle on about, but I'm sure you'll have a bayload of feedback to get through. Good luck with that, gents. One day I'll send in some feedback that's actually insightful. Until then, I'll probably be waiting for the Tomb Raider update to download. Cheers. P.S. What the fudge is up with the Transformer noises he uses in the battle suit? Oh, in the battle shit. Oh, I don't know. Lisa Coates, animator and freelance illustrator. Yeah, there you go. Lisa. I should have used that as a description, but anyway, yeah. Powered by wine. Right.
Okay.
Do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll do.
Chris.
Chris's one.
Yeah, do Chris.
Okay. So yes,
Chris Johnson, of course.
Indeed, or Spaceman 300.
Yes, and designer of my Mr. Bump avatar on Facebook.
Excellent.
But anyway, carry on.
Okay. Hello, skids and mud flaps.
Gee gosh, hello.
Love the cake.
Yeah. Give me some Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm an ice cream fan. No, I'm not. I can do electric boogaloo.
I'm really surprised they didn't both start breaking into a couple of choruses of the Camptown Ladies.
Yeah. Actually, while eating Mr. Ben's rice and going, oh, them golden slippers. For fuck's sake, it was awful. But anyway, carry on.
It was just horrible. Horrible to watch.
Oh.
Okay. What can I say about Transformers 2? It should have been called Sam and the Giant Nondescript Robots 2, because they don't have any of their iconic looks or personals apart from Optimus Prime, who spends most of the time dead. And when the film gets away from its overly sickly, overly stupid family drama, we get to the robot fights, which are hard to follow because almost all of them grey.
Yeah. So all of them are grey. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So if you want, if you can get past the racial stereotypes and all the other silly shit, the film ends with an underwhelming final fight between Optimus and the Fallen. So what I'm trying to say is Transformers 2 is shit, and it's an insult to shit. Chris. That's it.
Cheers, Chris. Okay, I'm going to do Jack P. Starro.
You do that.
Yes. And he has this to say. Dear Darren and Lee, a.k.a. the heinous bastards that made me think about Revenge of the Fallen again. Seriously, though, lads, fuck you. Okay, this is going to be an exercise in an attempt to brevity for me because I gather you're not exactly fans of inconcision. And this is a topic about which I have epic quantities of whinge to spill. However, I imagine there will be a lot of repetition in the feedback about this film's manifold shortcomings, so I'm going to try and limit myself. First off, I'm an actual proper Transformers fan, but that's not why I hated this movie. Dedicated Transformers fans have to be adaptable because ours is a franchise that probably second to none in terms of sheer number of reboots it's gone through. So anyone clinging to the white-knuckled fanboyish inflexibility of the 80s G1 version as the only legitimate iteration are, well, stupid cunts. So, I didn't automatically hate the adaptation differences involved in bringing the property to live action. In fact, despite severe reservations about the directional chops of Michael Baysplosion, I actually quite like the first movie. No, I lie. I actually kind of loved the first movie, even though it was slick and crass and aimed at adolescent morons. Just fill your own jokes in there, guys. Right, anyway. It was fun, and I thought largely faithful to the core spirit of the franchise across many of its iterations, despite the wank jokes. But I had one reservation coming out of the first flick. I really wanted to see more screen time spent on the giant robots kicking the shit out of each other. Well, it's a powerful testament to Mr. Baysplosion's ineptitude as a director, because I would have never have believed in a million years that I'd come out of the sequel saying, oh my god, I wanted less robot on robot fighting. So much less. Oh dear fucking robot Christ almighty. The reason, I think, are self-evident, and I'm sure many others will cover them, but suffice to say that all of the nonsensical priapic knuckle-dragging, racist, sexist twaddle put in the script, which he essentially wrote himself due to the writer's strike, you would think that Mr. TNT Testes would at least be able to make robot fighting interesting, or at least watchable, but no. The only other point I wanted to make is how royally ticked off I was at the gross mischaracterization of Optimus Prime. I said Transformers fans were flexible, right? Well, if there's one thing that remains essentially stable across dozens of different versions of this narrative, it is the portrayal of Optimus Prime as a heroic, noble-minded, merciful leader. Oh sure, he kills Decepticons, but in an open battle, in defense of others, when there is no other choice. For all of his kick-assitude, Prime is always and has been a conflicted pacifist philosopher and a reluctant warrior general. So what does Signor Baysplosion offer us? He offers a bargain bin Arnold Schwarzenegger knockoff built out of shredded metal, like Lee's worst DIY nightmare, who summarily executes defenceless prisoners, makes dickish wisecracks, gloats over his defeated adversaries, and shows a genuine sadism with some kind of fetish for decapitating or otherwise mutilating his enemies' heads. It's all culminating in a line which may not be considered noteworthy in the general circles, but is thoroughly infamous amongst Transformers fans, which is the climax where Prime hisses at the Fallen, "Give me your face!" just before literally ripping it off. I mean, please, this isn't Optimus Prime. It's not even Arnie line. It's fucking Hannibal Lecter line, for fuck's sake. And even worse, in Dark of the Moon, where Prime even shoots in the face enemies who are offering a truce and begging for their lives. Revolting, and it really speaks to Bay's contempt to the franchise, that his own totally sophomoric perception of what is cool. Sure, the action is cool, and I agree, violence even, but war crimes? No, it's not cool to show that your would-be hero with the moral centre of your picture is gleefully committing acts that would raise the eyebrows of a fucking Gestapo agent. So, okay, it wasn't short, I know, but believe me, you have no idea how much more epic, frothy rant it could have been. Loving the cast, party on, chaps. Cheers, Jack. Thanks for that, Jack.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good point about Optimus. I mean, he really isn't a hero.
I like that comment about sort of like, him being Hannibal Lecter. I eat his spark plugs with a nice Chianti and
Castrol GTX
and wiper blades.
Yeah. Right. Next piece of feedback. Do you want to do one?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, do Ollie's. Ollie's next one is Ollie Peters. Go on then.
So Ollie's next, and he writes.
Yes.
Hey dudes. Hey
Hello.
Ollie. So Transformers 2, the easily forgotten. I'm afraid this feedback will mostly be questions which you cannot answer with shut the fuck up, that's why, or shut up, that's why.
Really?
Okay, why does everyone look so dirty? Were they helping out with the oil spill before recording?
Oh, yeah. They all look like they were Tangerine. That's all I kept remembering. Every single one of them.
Is this really Megan Fox's first cam session?
Oh, In my mind, no.
I bet not. Who the fuck are all those Decepticons?
Clank, Ratchet, Stuffed Up, Rocket, Knock It, Bock It, Fuck It, Ruck It, Luck It. I don't know.
What the fuck is Sam's roommate saying throughout the whole fucking film?
I think it's generally it.
A little bit of a variation on that question.
Yeah.
What the fuck are those twin robots saying throughout the whole fucking film?
They are basically saying, if you're a member of the National Socialist Party, is a reason to invade America.
Did someone actually fuck with the Jesus?
Yes, they did, and they rested his big robot Devastator balls on his head.
What the fuck is going on with Sam's mum?
I don't know. Attempted MILF action for Michael Bay. I don't know.
There you go.
Yep.
Who are all those other Autobots?
Spacker, Backer, Racker, Clacker, Tacker, and Bill.
Bob. And where the fuck did they come from?
From Michael Bay's mind.
I think so. How the fuck did they get from Cairo to Petra back to Cairo in a fucking day?
The number 37 bus.
Why the fuck does Devastator have bollocks?
I don't know. Maybe it was a subtle indictment on the entire film.
Devastator fucked with the Jesus. He smacked his balls all over him, just like Jesus, like Jesus did to.
He's a pervert, dude.
So, in ending this bollocks, what the fuck? Michael Bay raped my childhood with Devastator balls. I might see you later if I recover, Ollie.
Oh,
cheers for that, Ollie.
Dear, we've got to go on. We must go on.
Yes, we must. We must battle on through, my son.
Okay. Next one is from Mark LaHaye.
Hey.
And Mark says, trannies with trannies. A question. How can such an amazing looking CGI induce nothing but a mild headache? Another. How can an action movie actually be boring? And a third question. Why did I actually try three, count them 3 times before I managed to get through this arse wipe of a movie? I'm not going to review it. I don't want to relive the pain again, but I will say this. Of all the films I have watched for the Blackdog, this one was the most awful. Thank you for that, Mark.
Yeah, cheers, man.
I don't think anyone's gonna condemn you for not having a good crack at watching the film.
Yeah.
Though 3 times is a bit excessive, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, indeed.
Once is enough.
Do you want me to read out Matt Jones' one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okie dokie. So, looks like Matt's got a lot to say on the subject of Transformers too. So, Matt Jones writes, well, Lee and Darren, you finally done it. You made us re-watch Michael Bay's god-awful second Transformer movie. As with the Star Wars Holiday Special, I thought it was best to break this one up into more watchable chunks. It didn't really help. I like a lot of Michael Bay's films, especially The Rock and The Island, and I actually quite like the original Transformers, although it did have a few problems. There are, however, nothing compared to the issues that I, and no doubt most Blackdoggers, have with the Revenge of the Fallen, which are so numerous that I'll have to try and condense my feedback a bit. Which is saying something.
Yeah.
The film actually starts off with a bit of promise as we follow a task force called Nest that's been set up to track down rogue Decepticons. And then we're almost immediately introduced to the fucking stupid jive-talking twins, who are this film's Jar Jar Binks, hitting a solid 11 on the annoyo meter. Equally annoying is Sam's mum, who single-handedly destroys every scene she's in, whether she's crying over Sam going to college or babbling to strangers after eating what are obviously hash browns to anybody with half a brain. Oh, hash brownies, sorry.
Yeah.
She carries Sam's baby shoes and says shit a lot. Ah, hilarious. Why do his parents even need to be in this film so much? It's not as if we even care about their characters. Although, that said, I can think of a character in it that we do care about. Even Optimus Prime's fake death is wasted. Care less. do care about even.
Yeah, he can't care. Okay. Yeah, go
on. It gets even worse whenever the little Transformers appear, especially when one of them farts fire and later another one starts humping Megan Fox's leg. What the hell? Bumblebee crying was equally ridiculous. Sam's Hispanic roommate really pissed me off, and don't even get me started on the big pair of robot bollocks. Another thing I noticed, didn't Bumblebee get his voice back at the end of the movie? How is it he lost it again? This makes no narrative sense, nor does the fact that a Decepticon can take human form, since when have they been able to do that? They are machines that transform into other machines. And anyway, couldn't Bumblebee tell the hot girl was a Decepticon when she sat inside him?
Obviously, he's not as sensitive inside as...
obviously.
Yeah, anyway.
Although he's quite sensitive because he shot stuff all over. Anyway.
Yeah. Maybe that was it. Hey, yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe he wasn't pissing on her. Maybe that was just Bumblebee premature ejaculation.
Don't touch the steering wheel. Oh, damn.
It's got off in my hands. Doesn't normally happen.
It doesn't happen at all. It went off, I was just cleaning it and it went off, Your Honour.
Yeah, got a sock on the dashboard.
The film is far too long. 2.5 hours. Really? The dialogue is awful, particularly Sam and Michaela's vomiting-inducing conversation about the L word.
Oh, God.
And the Fallen himself, who is in the fucking title and supposedly should be a great big threat, is hardly in the movie, much like Megatron in the first one. He didn't actually get very much revenge, did he?
No.
Nearly all of the casts are either irritating or forgettable. Many only appearing because they were in the previous film. And as for the robotic characters, most of the time you couldn't even tell who they were. The only good fight scene was the forest fight, as it was an unusual setting, and it was actually quite clear who was fighting who. Oh, and Linkin Park's song "New Divide" is excellent. Well, that's all the good points dealt with then. It's probably true that the writer's strike adversely affected this film, but there is surely no excuse for this overlong, turgid piece of shit. Even Bay himself has since admitted that it's crap. And boys, before you start thinking about covering the third film, Dark of the Moon, I rented it a while ago in the vain hope that it'd be a huge improvement on this one. It isn't. It's worse than a turd, but not it's not as worse. It's no worse than this turd, but not this significantly better either. I feel stupid for having watched Transformers 2 again. I'm lining up the Master, Argo, and Jaws for viewing this week. Hopefully by next week, I should be a lot less renty. Matt. Cheers for that, Matt.
Cheers, Matt. Oh, dear.
Again, sorry for hacking that to death. Don't know what's wrong with me this evening.
No, it's okay. I think we've given up on life thanks to this film.
Yeah. It's all Transformers 2 fault. It really is.
I'll do Bob Lamont. You can do Sean McGowan.
Okay.
Okay, so Bob writes him, Bob Halo Man Lamont, to say the following. Hi, Lee and Darren. I suppose you're wondering why I haven't called Lee any names. Well, judging by the Facebook posts he's been making recently, I think he's suffered enough. That, and I am pretty damn sure that the rest of the feedbackers will have done this already. I'll keep this one quick, as I'm sure other feedbackers have done far more a thorough job than I can. And also, due to the fact that I can't give a fuck, I want to give this fucking film as little of my time and effort as possible. This is probably the reason the filmmakers took while making this abortion. Bear with me, as I'm doing this from memory, as I decided to spare my sanity and not watch this film again. Again, judging by the Facebook group, this seems to have been a smart move. What the fuck was with the Lady Terminator thingy? If the plan she was carrying out was a new one, then why the fuck has she apparently been in the university for a long time already? If it was the plan to fuck with the higher education system, then she needn't have bothered, as government seem to be doing a good job of that on their own. And what was that tongue whip thing? What practical purpose did it serve? And I'm fairly sure that Bumblebee would have sensed her being a Decepticon. And why the hell bother with the whole seduction plan when Megatron just grabs him in the fucking end anyway? There are pointless male arse shots, dog sex, robot testicles, stoner mothers, robots fucking Jesus and heaven. Oh, sorry, Jesus is, and heaven. What the fuck? And by the way, By the way, Michael Bay, fuck off with the old age parachute shitting, oil pissing, info dumping, Yorkshire stereotype. As a Yorkshire man myself, fuck you, Bay. Don't make me fetch the whippets. Old man Transformer, who is only there to give Prime a fucking hardware upgrade, and why can the Fallen only be beaten by a Prime? This film contains racism that would make George Lucas blush. I nearly cheered when one of the gangster bots looked like he had been destroyed, but then Bay spoils it by having him survive. I'll stop now. I usually think one or two things are good in shit films. This is the first occasion that I can't do it. This film is irredeemable. Speak to you next week, lads. Bob Lamont. P.S. I can't wait to hear Jim's feedback. Well, I will be honest with you. We listened to Jim's feedback a little earlier than when we normally record. Normally we don't play it until we actually hear it for the last time, and we will be using it to play out this episode.
Oh, okay. Definitely.
So there you go. Right. Okay. So you want to do Sean, and then I'll do Martin Sean. Thompson.
Okay. So Sean writes, rather than rant on how goddamn fucking awful Transformers 2 is, I've decided to take a deep breath, find my centre, embrace my chi, and cleanse my spirit of this experience by summing up my opinions in haiku.
Oh.
So here we go.
Okay.
Major clusterfuck. Explosions and racist bots. Childhood is ended. I have exorcised the demons. This house is clean.
I have exorcised the demons.
With love, Sean. P.S. If you ever, and I mean ever, consider Transformers 3, I will have just 2 syllables for you. You will hear them loud and clear from across the Atlantic.
Well,
you've got no chance of us doing Transformers 3. We are not visiting the rest of this series ever. Ever.
Unless, of course, I get you drunk or something.
Oh, God, no. Yeah. Then hopefully, come sweet slumber and shroud me in thy purple cloak.
Doesn't even rhyme. Right. Okay, so the last piece of written feedback is from Martin Thompson.
This is the last bit, yeah? Because I'll put this pad down.
As far as I'm aware, it's the last piece, anyway. Yep. But he writes, to whom it may concern, should you find this email on a broken iPad somewhere in Bromley, then you may already know the truth. How 2 men in the prime of their lives became gibbering wrecks, all due to one movie. Should the microphone still be recording for more than the sounds of shit being thrown against walls, please read this out. So then, feedback for Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, or Rise of the Fallen, or I've Fallen and I Can't Get Up, or Comedy Sidekick the movie.
Oh Vic, I've fallen.
Oh brother, I've fallen. Yeah. So then, good points. Well, Megan Fox is hot, and Shy Beef tries his best. The effects were good at least, and if you're trying to make a giant transforming bot look realistic, then they would have just turned inside out. Undersea Megatron looked okay. The Matrix crumbling as Sam's hands was a nice moment. Oh, the fucking shit. The comedy is too broad. I get that Bay wants to make a big dumb action movie with fun bits, but this was way over the top, especially with Sam's Mun and Mo's are fucking annoying twins, and of course Jetfire and his accent. Dogs humping dogs, robots humping Megan Fox. There were too many comedy sidekicks and not enough characterization in the Transformers themselves. I felt like they were sidelined in their own movie, and they tried to make Megatron and Starscream bicker like they used to, but it felt like you could have barely told one robot from the next, and Optimus Prime should not have a fucking pair of lips. It was just a long fucking film as well. That final battle could have been cut down so much. It's just a drag of a film. Anyway, on to next week. Cheers, Martin. Thank you very much for that, Martin.
Yeah, cheers, man.
You've done the haiku, and that's that. I think that's the written feedback.
It is.
Yes.
Okie-dokies.
So, it's time to move on to the MP3 feedback. And the first piece of MP3 feedback is our good friend, Reverend Peter Org, of the Orgcast, which you can find on Geek Planet Online and on iTunes, and discusses Star Trek The Next Generation, seasons 2 through to 7. So, let's hear what the man of the cloth has to say about Transformers 2.
Oh, bloody hell. I didn't like the first one very much. The crap designs for the Transformers. And Shia LaBeouf, and just generally not impressed. So I wasn't going to bother with the second one, but then it was on telly, as you pointed out. Thank you. So I recorded it and watched it. Yeah. Okay. Good points about the film. Soundwave being a satellite makes perfect sense. Very good. That's it. That's the only good thing I've got to say about this film. And as my mother used to say, if you've got nothing good to say, don't say anything. So I shall hand over to my colleague, the Reverend Jim Beam, to sum up. That was fucking shite!
Thank you very much, Pete, and thank you very much, Reverend Jim Beam. Maybe we'll hear some more of the other Reverend fairly soon.
One can only hope.
So, yeah, there you go. One disappointed and one rather angry person. So, right. Well, thank you very much for that. And like I say, you can hear Pete and Anne-Marie talking on the Allcast, which you can find on Geek Planet Online and on iTunes. Right, next piece of feedback, I think, is John Campion, I believe. He was on the Facebook group today wondering whether or not he should re-record his feedback, because I think he thinks he may have gone slightly mental and slightly incoherent.
Oh, we like that.
Yeah, exactly. We like that. It's not making much difference to anything else.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Because I put that, replied to him on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like, I think on Facebook group he basically said, guys, if feedback is before 9ish tonight, will it still make the cut? Had a listen back to the one I recorded last night, and I sound like I'm having a bit of an episode. So, let's hear what John having a bit of an episode sounds like.
Well, here's a film I never thought I'd be watching. The first thing to strike you about Transformers 2 is the sheer pointless restlessness of it all. The camera work and editing seems inspired by some sort of attention deficit disorder. In the first half hour it swirls and circles characters with no rhyme or reason at all, whether you're in an action scene or a scene with I think it's Sam, the character's name, and his parents. And that restlessness seems to be echoed in some other parts of the film as well. The actual Transformers themselves are a mess of over-detailed, over-shiny, bizarre character design. It's just too much for it to work for me. The transformations, which, as anyone who's either owned the toys or as a child that's owned the toys knows, are pretty complex in any case, but when you watch him actually do it on the film, things swirl, move around, spiral. Oh, and sparks. Good job cars don't run on anything flammable. While we're on character design, I think the two characters that did work were the Fallen in those very first scenes, where he wasn't in that odd sort of space dungeon he seemed to have constructed for himself. And I quite like the speed skating Autobots. That was a nice touch. It's odd to find these little things that you like, that are probably seconds, minutes, charitably, in 3 hours of film. The humour is lowest common denominator, terribly broad stuff, from those dreadful Autobot twins through to the fact that when Sam's family are in France, they eat snails and they don't like it. Of course they don't. Of course they would eat snails because they're in France. Fucking idiots. And they do that because that's the most obvious joke you could make about France. Ugh. All the way through the film, it's hitting these big lowest common denominator buttons all the time. in the college scenes, the guys are all horny nerds and the girls are all catwalk models, it seems. Megan Fox just seems to be wasted by the director in the film, really. Having seen her in Jennifer's Body, where the point of the film is her attractiveness and her sexuality. Whatever you think of Jennifer's Body, it's used in a far better way than it is in Transformers. The Baywatcher-like running scenes, the fact that she's the only person that works in a machine shop without wearing a coverall, you could go on. It's a film that, I don't know, an unsophisticated 12-year-old or 13-year-old would probably think, hey, fantastic. The morality of the film is oddly constructed. I think in the first half hour you see Optimus Prime, the supposed hero of the film, seemingly execute a defenceless, wounded prisoner who's a Decepticon, so is that okay? I don't know. It's hard to care about anyone in the film, really. All the way through the film I got the feeling that Michael Bay wasn't particularly keen to have humans on screen. You've shown that most graphically in one of the moments of pathos where the Decepticons have sunk the aircraft carrier and you get the sad music and the camera focuses on all those lovely machines sinking to the bottom of the sea. There are helicopters, there are planes, there are no people. That's what Michael Bay cares about, I guess. The attempts at characters are mostly dreadful. They have a sort of Hudson-alike in the squad of soldiers at the end who's, I don't know, just lacks any of Hudson's self-doubt or charm. He's just a swaggering bellend and you don't really understand why he says what he says. And to be honest, you would think that one of the others in the squad would tell him to shut up. I certainly felt like that. John Turturro's in this. John Turturro from The Big Lebowski, from Miller's Crossing. He's in this. I hope he's got a really big conservatory. Having seen Battleship at the end of last year, I'm stunned that Hasbro have been able to attach their name to something that's actually worse and less sophisticated and more plodding and obvious in the beats it's trying to hit. In some ways it's an interesting film, but it's interesting in the way that you might smell something really bad and think, gosh, I wonder where that's coming from. The other thing, of course, is that for all the faults in it, which seem pretty obvious to me, the film still grossed enough to make it one of the top 15 films at the box office in its year of release. That probably says something about Western civilization, but I'm not sure I'm ready to hear that yet. It's a terrible film. It's sound and fury signifying nothing. It's almost as though it was a film made for people to watch while they fiddle with their phones or chat to their friends. It's pointless, loud, annoying. If you like explosions, you might get something out of it, I suppose. I'm not keen to see it again. So, thanks for choosing this one, guys.
It's you and me, Megatron. No, it's just me, Prime.
Oh, bugger off.
Thank you very much for that, John. Yeah. That was a lot more coherent than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be just gibbering and the sound of someone slapping their heads against the
I thought
floor.
he actually was going to be the Scat Man. The way he was.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I'm a scat man. But thank you very much for that. I think all the points were well made, and I especially, if you're in France, you have to eat snails. That's what you do.
Yep.
Yeah, let's not yeah,
It's the only source of food in the country, apparently.
Exactly. Is that weird jingoistic over thereistan attitude, American attitude that you see in Michael Bay films? A bit like Independence Day. You know, everyone lives in a desert outside of America, and they all go, "Bloody good show! I'm glad the Americans showed up." You know, it's that kind of crap.
Yeah.
Oh dear. No. Yes. Thank you very much for that, John.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
And right, that's it. I think that is it. We've got Jim to play us out with his feedback.
Yep.
So it just leaves me to say thank you to everyone.
Next week's movie.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you to everyone for sending in feedback and suffering through this movie, except for those of you who tried to do it from memory and cheat. Yeah, undermining our struggle or something. But thank you everyone for sending in feedback. It's appreciated.
Very much so.
And I do feel immensely guilty for having inflicted this film on you. I say that, but then, you know, in a couple of weeks' time we've got Super Mario Brothers, so
yeah,
clearly I don't.
The pain is not over.
Yeah, I've not learned my lesson. So, yes, in case you haven't been on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Blackdog Podcast, you will not know what the next film is, but the next film is going to be Danny Boyle's interesting take on zombie movies without zombie, which is 28 Days Later. Cillian Murphy's, I think.
Cillian Murphy's in this one, yeah.
But it's his first film, I think, wasn't it? Or one of his first films. Anyway, doesn't really matter. We'll talk about it next week.
Actually, I think it was.
I think it was too. But so, yes, if you want to watch and send in any feedback about 28 Days Later, please send it in to blackdog@geekplanetonline.com. And yes, that would be great. We hopefully have a little bit more positive things to say next week. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Darren, for staying awake through this.
Not a problem.
And thank you for suffering alongside all of us with this terrible, terrible piece of shit film. And now it's time for us to leave you and say goodbye. And we can't leave completely without leaving Jim Moon to serve the last rites on Michael Bay's fucking awful magnum opus of shit. So, until next week, see you all later, and Jim, take it away.
I watched Transformers 2 today. Oh boy. About some rat-faced twat who had the shard. And though the film was rather shite, well, I just couldn't laugh. This bollocks was off the graph. I want a brain bay with a car. He didn't notice that we're not all brain-dead tards. A crowd of black doggers stood and stared. They'd seen his crap before, but no one was even sure if he'd ever been this shite before. I watched Transformers 2 today. Oh boy. Giant robots were a crashing bore. A crowd of black doggers turned away. But I just had to look, despite not giving a flying fuck. I'd love to punch Michael Bay in his bollocks.
I find this lack of sense disturbing.
Transformers 2
Make it no.
Woke up, fell out of bed, smack shy a buff across the head. Found my way downstairs and drank a cup. And looking up, I noticed I was late. Found my coat, grabbed my baseball bat, made it to Hollywood in seconds flat. Found Bay upstairs and made him choke. And then someone spoke and I realised it was a bloody dream. Oh God, no. Oh no, I'm still watching this shitty fucking film. Will it never fucking end? Apparently not. It just goes on and fucking on and on and fucking on. I watched Transformers 2 today. Oh boy. More plot holes than in Blackburn, Lancashire. And though the holes were rather small, we've had to count them all. And now we know how many holes it takes to fill Devastator's balls. I'd love to fucking cut punch that twat monkey Michael fucking cunting bastard fucking Bay.
Transformers 2. Well, it's enough to make you want to glue your own ass shut, isn't it? This makes Zardoz look like a shining example of wit and sense.
Have you heard that cunt Jetfire? And people said that I had a stupid voice.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.
Go compare, go compare. Just because you're insured with Go Compare. It doesn't mean much when you're a penis.